Now, there are lots of different ways we can use the playing cards deck in DeckHive for fun and games or for educational activities. Now, here are just a couple of ideas to get you started. First off, we have Play Your Cards Right. So just as in a TV game in the UK, we have a number of cards laid out on the table, all face down. And then we need a first card to get us started. Now we can simply turn over the first card here, or we could, if we want to engage the audience a bit more, have the person who's playing start at the top of the deck, turn them all over so that again they can't see the numbers on the cards, and ask them to say stop at some random point as we're scrolling through the deck, and we'll just pick a card then to put it at the front of the row to start us off, and this will be our first card. So we'll turn over the first card and we'll see that it's a queen. And now the challenge is to guess whether the next card in the row will be higher or lower than a queen. So I guess they would choose lower in this case most often, and we'll find a 7, and then it's higher or lower than a 7. Or if we choose lower, then we'll be correct, and we'll find that we can continue that. So as long as we get it right, we can move on to the next card and then keep revealing what comes next. So if you're working with children with this activity, then of course you can ask them to explain their logic at each step. Why do they want to choose higher or lower, and what's the rationale behind that? And if they get to all the way to the end of the row, getting correct each time, then they've won that round. If they don't get one correct, then they stop and somebody else has their turn instead. So a very simple activity, but can be fun to do as a group in a class or in an online session. Another simple activity is the pairs game, just as you may have played before with real playing cards in real life. You turn the cards face down, and you can either play a standard game of pairs where you're looking for two numbers which match and they then form a pair, or you can play a mathematical variation of that. So we could, for example, play pairs where we're looking for number bonds to 10. So if we turn over two cards, in fact straight away I found a pair, so I can then move that pair over to the side because that pair makes 10. And then if I turn over another pair, and again I've been lucky, that's another pair that makes 10. But we could also play in other ways. Of course, we can have different variations and different questions that we might pose for this activity. So whether we can find two numbers that have a common multiple, for example. There are lots of different ways we can play the game, but again, just engage the audience by letting them turn over their cards, turn them back again. And of course, all the time it reinforces and builds memory and engagement and focus during the activity itself. So I'm sure there are many other ways that you can find to use the cards in the work that you're doing, whether you're working with adults or with children. So please do let us know. We'd love to hear what works for you.